Go online to jointrehab.com. Again, the website is jointrehab.com.
Appear that there were some voices in play.
time for The Pet Show with America's favorite pet expert, Warren Eckstein. Warren is the author of How to Get Your Cat to Do What You Want and How to Get Your Dog to Do What You Want. He's here to answer all your pet and animal questions. And now, Warren Eckstein.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome once again to The Pet Show. Does your dachshund have you dumbfounded? Is your Siamese kitten a little too shy? Are your schnauzers stressed out? Well, if you love animals, care about wildlife and the environment, and truly want to understand how your dogs and cats think and how to resolve any issues you may be having with them or any issues they may be having with you, stay tuned, because once again, right here, right now, it is time for The Pet Show. That's right, America's first and only real pet psychology, pet training, pet behavior, and of course, pet lifestyle show. So hop up on my couch. Bring those furry little buddies with you, folks. It is that time once again to let the animal analyzing begin. Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show, the place where we absolutely, positively, never a doubt about it, love, I mean really love, adore, and as I stress every single week, respect pets and animals as much as you do. By the way, it's our show, your show and my show. We've been doing it together for almost 44 years. So here's the bottom line. If you have questions or comments or just want to share a great story or brag about a dog or cat you recently rescued, now's the time to give me a call. As usual, if you're a new listener to the show or a regular listener to the show, everyone that calls into the show today and gets to talk to me live on the air will be getting an absolutely incredible gift. Don't get excited. You know it's not for you. A great gift for their dog or cat. And again, many of the items I give away here on The Pet Show are worth $30, $40, as much as $50. And there's a reason for that. A lot of the items I give away are tied directly into the resolution to some of the issues you may be having with your pets or some of the issues they may be having with you, whether it be jumping, humping, digging, scratching, excessive barking, not getting along with the neighbor's dog, can't take your dog for a walk, cat hates the new cat. That's what we do here on The Pet Show. We make life easier, not just for you, but for more importantly, from my perspective, we make life a lot better for your dogs and cats. You know, folks, it's not easy living with human beings. And, you know, I say that partially joking, but I mean that seriously. There is no living thing more neurotic than you and I. I mean that seriously. One person tells the dog what to do, another person tells the cat not to do it. Totally confusing to our dogs and our cats. So here's the deal. Everyone that calls in and gets to talk to me live on the air, whether it be a question or whether it be you just want to share a story. I love those stories you guys have. You don't realize the impact that you have, even stronger than the impact I have on the air. When you call up and talk about a dog or a cat you saved, you rescued, or adopted recently, it makes a difference and actually encourages other listeners to say, you know what? I was thinking about it, but maybe today's the day I'm going to go out and foster, I'm going to rescue, or I'm going to adopt. So if you have a question or a comment, just want to share a great story, the phone number here at The Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA. Excuse me, that's 866-870-5752. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. As I said, plenty of time for all your calls. Lots of great stuff to give away. As you know by now, we also broadcast the show live on YouTube. So if, in fact, you want to ask me a question on YouTube, you can do that right now. Go to my YouTube channel, simply youtube.com/Warren Eckstein, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein, and I'll try to take some questions from YouTube as well. Plenty of time for your calls. As I said, lots of great stuff to give away. A little tuckered this morning. Molly and Willie tuckered me out. They got me up early, and I was out in the backyard playing with them. In my backyard, it's kind of like my little fantasy land. I love lighting. So in my backyard, there's all kinds of solar lights, blinking here, blinking there, blinking over there, blinking on top of the fence. And at night, it kind of is like my little Disneyland. And when I let Molly and Willie out, they have their little collars on too. I'm going to take a video of that and I'll share it on my Instagram channel because it's absolutely amazing to watch them running around the yard with their collars on and all the other lights flashing. It literally is like Warren's little Disneyland. Hey, that phone number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. 866-872-5752. Lots of time for your calls. Let me tell you what I have planned for today's show. And I mean, this is some really serious topics. One of the reasons we've been on as long as we have, and I've been talking to you both on radio and TV, is because I hear from you. And the topics I discuss are the topics that you guys seem to be most interested in or maybe confused about in terms of understanding your dog or cat's behavior. So coming up on today's show, let me just read this right off my list. Believe it or not, our dogs and our cats can really, really suffer with panic attacks. It's not just us. Of course they're going to have panic attacks. They live with you and I. How can you tell if your pet is anxious, and what can you do to calm them down? Now, over the years, I have literally seen dogs go through major anxiety attacks. And I don't mean just an issue here and there. I mean attacks where we really had to delve in, and I had to work closely with veterinarians and myself to put all the pieces together. So we're going to get into a little bit about whether or not your dogs can, and your cats for that matter, can really suffer with panic attacks. And I think you're going to be a little surprised at what I have to say. Also coming up, are you being rude to other people's dogs? I'll share a few examples. I read this article this week. I'm going to share a few examples of things you probably should not do around other people's dogs without their permission. Now, I'm as guilty as anybody. I see a cute dog, you want to bend down, you want to hug, you want to kiss, well, maybe that's not what you should be doing. So we're going to talk about that, how you can be rude to other people's pets and may not even be aware. Again, that number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Also coming up, if you listen to the Pet Show on a regular basis, whether it's this show on KRLA, whether it's my Radio America, my American Forces, whatever it may be, you know that one of the more common questions I get asked is about cats that are not using their litter box. And you're getting upset and you're getting angry at your cat. Well, today, I'm going to spend some time on that. Coming up, the real reasons that your cat may not be using the litter box, and it's not always your cat's fault, and it's not always what you're thinking. So knock it off. Quit blaming the cat if they're having accidents outside the litter box. You, yes, you may be the cause. Also coming up, I say this often. I remember talking about this on the Letterman show many years ago. Everyone knows and teaches their dog the word no, 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 no. Well, I want you to understand the most important word to teach your dog is not the word no. Is not the word no. The most important word to teach your dog is the word yes. Spend more time with yes, and you'll have to spend less time with no. Take it from me. I worked with a few dogs in my career. As always, plenty of time for your questions and comments. Lots of great stuff to give away. So, if your pet happens to be jumping or chewing, and maybe your cat scratched your favorite chair, maybe that rescued feline is not using a litter box, your puppy's not housebroken, your dog doesn't get along with other dogs and doesn't like too many people either, or he believes everything he sees he must hump, that's what this show is all about. We will help you resolve any issues, taking it from the pet's point of view, not just your point of view. I'm so tired. It's the dog's fault. It's the cat's fault. I would say, get me on the record for this. All those trainers and behaviorists out there, get me on the record. I would say that 80 to 85% of behavioral issues with dogs and cats are related directly to those that walk upright, the people they live with. They're not born with this problem. They're created. These problems are often created. So we're going to talk about that. Plenty of time for your calls. Lots of great stuff to give away. And the question of the day is this. I don't talk about politics here on the Pet Show very often, but we all know what's going on in the world. What's going on in Israel and Palestine and all the different things. And it's kind of close to my heart. Family there, relatives, and a lot of my family were Holocaust survivors. So who do I talk to about it? I don't want to talk to other people about it. So what I do is I sit down and I want to express my feelings. And the only time I feel that I can really express my true feelings about anything, whether it be a war, whether it be love, whether it be hate, whether it be anger, whether it be frustration. Yeah, there's great therapists out there, and I love human therapists, and they can do a lot of amazing work, and God bless them. But also, I think some of the best therapy out there is simply the conversations I have with Molly and Willie, and the conversations I've had with my pets over the many, many years. So that's the question of the day. Do you literally have conversations with your pets? I don't mean just saying, hey, it's a nice day outside, but literally have conversations. And take it from me, the more time you spend having conversations with your dog or cat, the more they're going to focus. They're going to focus on sitting there. And there are sometimes Molly and Willie just look up at me and say, okay, Pop, I got it, but what else is going on? So maybe I'm a little eccentric, and yeah, I admit that I can be, but that is the question of the day. Do you have conversations with your dogs and cats? I would love to hear from you. Again, that phone number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. I'd be a little remiss if I didn't talk about the weather. They're expecting some high winds coming in. I guess they're offshore winds. I never heard that till I moved to California. The offshore winds, and I guess make sure your dogs and cats are in the house, or you know where they are. The winds, those heavy-duty winds can really freak them out a little bit, and at the same time can really they can get lost a lot easier. So just some common sense. So listen, this is what I love doing about my show. Every single day of the week, we're all involved with technical issues. My phone doesn't work. My computer doesn't work. I can't get my phone to hook up to my car. This isn't working. Well, let me tell you, this is my time of the day where I can just take all of that technical stuff and just say, Alex, you take care of it. And I just deal talking to you. And that's what I do most. I love talking to people about their pets. And I guess that's why I've been doing it for so many years. Again, the number 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. I happened to a couple of weeks ago bump into a rare, not a rare breed of dog, but a Dandy Dinmont. Anyone ever out there hear of a Dandy Dinmont Terrier? Actually, it's on the front cover of my How to Get Your Dog to Do What You Want. And in so many breeds, and we talked about this a while back, and so many breeds, and I want to hear from you guys, some of the breeds you remember when you were growing up. But when I was younger and just starting out even training, Keesuns, there were a lot of Keesuns, a lot of Alaskan Malamutes. And one of my favorite breeds, and I'm so tired of trainers saying this breed is smarter than that breed and this is a stupid dog. Afghans. I just saw a commercial on TV the other day. I have not seen an Afghan on a commercial, God, for how many years? I used to work with a woman, and you're not going to know who she is. Her name was Sunny Shea. She was a breeder many years ago. She had a line of Afghans called Scheherazade, the only Afghans ever to win at Madison Square Garden in Westminster, and I had some input broadcasting from there and working with them as well. So, people, Afghans there. Now, I got to tell you, I've worked with some incredible Afghans that are incredibly bright, but they are gay sons. They heighten with their eyes versus their nose, so it's a different ballgame trying to understand them. All right, off of my tangent. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. Do you have conversations with your dog? And do you remember some breeds of dogs when you were growing up that you don't see anymore? What kind of dogs? I mean, everyone when I was growing up, wire-haired fox terriers. Remember Cheryl Teagues, the great model? I trained two of her wire-haired fox terriers, and you don't see them anymore. Airedales, Kerry Blue Terriers, where are they? Just great breeds of dogs. Honestly, from my heart, I'm glad that maybe I don't see as many, because that means more and more people are going to shelters and rescues and adopting what I call my term, blended breeds. No more mutts, no more mixed, blended breeds. And so I don't know, maybe that's one of the reasons. Maybe that's a good thing that we don't see more of those dogs around. Afghans, Poolies. Remember Poolies? You know what Poolies? Poolies are like look like little Rastafarian dogs. 866-870-KRLA. Let me take a break. The phones are getting busy. I'm going to get to all your calls, I promise. But if I don't take a break, Alex gets very upset. And when Alex gets upset, the show kind of goes in a different direction. So let me take a quick break, then back to your calls. We're going to go to Steve, Tella, Bruce. We'll get to all your calls right after this. Hey, listen, just this morning I was watching TV. We certainly do love all the animals here on the Pet Show. The phone number 866-870-KRLA. 866-870-5752. I got some great stuff to give away. Hugs and kisses, Lucy Pet Food, Author Suit Gold, copies of my books, T-shirts, fleece spray, lots of great stuff to give away. Let me get to the phone calls and shut up. Hey, Steve in North Hollywood. Welcome to the Pet Show. Steve, how you doing, Steve?
Warren. Good to talk to you. I spoke to you last week about my unruly dog that barks at everything she sees. And I took her to this... I had a card somebody gave me, and I thought it was just one-on-one training. It was it's called the School of Canine Behavior.
Yeah. And
they actually board the dogs for a time and train them.
Yeah.
I was wondering what you thought as opposed to one-on-one training with a trainer. If it's better to to go to put them in a facility like that for if they wanted $4,000 for
listen, God, maybe I should start training again. I charged less than that many years ago. Here's the bottom line, okay? I am a firm believer that the most important part of education for your dog takes place in the environment where the dog lives, in the situation where the family is. For example, at their boarding facility, do they have 2.5 kids? Do they have a Harley Davidson in the driveway? Are their next door neighbors fighting all the time? Is there a fire siren behind their house? Bottom line is this. There are some incredible places if that's what you want to do. My preference is having someone come into your home because quite honestly, 75 to 80% of the training is not the dog, it's the people the dog lives with. So training the person in the environment where the dog actually lives is my preferred way. Prime example, when I ran I had a company called Master Dog Training on the East Coast for many years. We ran between 300 and 400 dogs weekly being trained. How did I do that? I took on apprentices. I never hired a trainer in my life. I took on apprentices, trained them for a year or two under my tutelage, and then they would go out and work with other people's animals. The bottom line is, yes, it can be done. Yes, some people love to send their dog away to be trained. Between you and me, if you're asking me, as a regular person, not as an animal behaviorist, I would not be sending my dog away or having my dog trained by anybody that I couldn't watch actually doing the training. Not that I have a strong point on that.
I have had a little success this week after I talked to you. Just walking around the block, I have a handful of beef liver treats, and when I see her about to bark or engage, if she sees another dog across the street or something, I will just say off, and I'll get her attention, and I'll give her the treat if she doesn't bark. And that is it seems to be helping a little bit.
Listen, that's not my. Steve. It's not my preferred method, but that's a method that will work. Some trainers and behaviorists advocate the treat before the reaction, and sometimes, and it does work in many cases. Yeah. I always approach
what would you suggest? If I'm walking the dog, how
just keep walking. Just keep walking. Just keep walking. Don't stop.
Oh, sure. Yeah, she just keeps barking.
I don't care. Walk. Listen. Walk to Montana.
In the park.
If you have to walk to Montana, I don't care, but you continue walking because the minute you react to what she's doing, that's reinforcing that behavior. So what I'm suggesting to you is if you're walking with her and she's starting to bark, you just continue walking, saying, I got it from here, and just go, because the minute you react to it, that behavior is being reinforced. So you might have to go a block or a half a block or three-quarters of a block.
It's really intense. I went on a hike the other day, and there must have been about 30, 40 dogs, and, I mean, she just goes off the handle where I have to, almost pulling her away.
Steve, you've been working with her for a week.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. What do you expect? How long did it take you to read? How long did it take you to learn how to ride a bicycle? How long did it take you to learn how to drive? Why do you expect your dog to go from Cujo to Rin Tin Tin in a week? Little by little, patience. Sit down, have a cup of coffee, a glass of wine, whatever you need to do. But the bottom line is, let's work at a pace. Work a little bit at a time. You're seeing a little results? Well, great. Don't expect a miracle overnight. As long as you're seeing results, and there might be some regressions there. But the bottom line is, rather than just stopping, continue walking. I'm telling you, it works. I've done this 1 or 2 times, I promise. But that's what you need. That's probably the best approach to resolving this issue.
Yeah, I'll try that. I mean, I that's typically what I do. Like, she'll start barking, and I just try to get away from the situation, you know. But I mean, people give me these looks like, "What's wrong with your dog?" I mean, she just freaks out at the minute she sees another dog, and I'm like,
"Oh yeah, so she
yeah.
does. She's on a leash. She's not bothering anyone. You just continue walking because every time you react, I'm gonna have to move on. But every time you I sent you a copy of the book, right? You didn't get it yet, I'm assuming.
Yeah, no, I have a copy. I've been reading it.
Oh, well, go back to it. There's a specific section on that, and I want you to focus. Listen, here's my only concern. My concern is that you're trying a little bit of this and you're trying a little bit of that. So your dog's going to pull a little bit of this barking and a little bit of that being quiet and a little bit of this barking. Pick a method and be consistent. Dogs learn through continuity. If you do it one way today, a different way tomorrow, that's confusing. You need to be more consistent. Go back to the book, ignore the barking, continue walking, focus on your basic training to establish positive authority, and this is not that difficult a problem to resolve, but it's not going to happen overnight. It might take 2 months, it might take 3 months, it might take 5 months, but the end result is going to be a dog you can walk that's not going to bark at other dogs.
I'll try that.
Keep going. Don't get frustrated. Keep calling me. I appreciate the phone call. Hey, the phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. We're going to get to you, Teller. We'll get to you, Bruce. We'll get to you, Carol. It was a great call that Steve had, and I really admire him. But the bottom line is people are always looking for what's the way to do it. And you know, I heard it. I talked to a guy at a boarding facility, a training facility where the dog goes away, and people bothered me because the dog was barking, and I started giving the dog treats, and sometimes I just walk by. Too much being thrown at the dog. If that were me, Steve, I'd be totally confused. Pick a method, stick to it. If you want to use mine, I guarantee it's going to work, no doubt in my mind, but you need to be consistent and don't expect it to happen overnight. It always is one of my big frustrations when people get a dog or even a cat that has issues and they expect those issues to be resolved quickly. And let's be honest, Steve, I love you and I want you to call me every week if you have to. But the bottom line is, I believe part of the issues you're having with your dog are created by your lack of consistency in terms of working with her. The bottom line is, when in doubt, blame mom and dad. That's what I'm doing. If you were consistent with her and the same reaction was every single time, this problem would have been over and done with now. Hey, great time to call me. I got lots of great stuff to give away. I got hugs and kisses to give away. I got Arthrosuit Gold to give away for hips and joints. My best-selling books for dog or cat. All natural herbal flea spray. And boy, are you going to need that. I got those amazing T-shirts that say none of my friends walk upright. Allergy stuff. Lots of great stuff to give away. Everyone that calls in and gets to talk to me live on the air will, in fact, get a fabulous gift for their dog or cat. Again, the phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Let me take a quick break, and then we'll get back to your calls right after this. Listen. We are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. Great time to give me a call if you have questions or just want to share a great story, or perhaps you want to understand something your dog or cat is doing a little bit better. That's what we do here on the show. We kind of establish that. I know you have a great bond with your dogs and cats, but sometimes it's important to look at life not only from our point of view, but from their point of view as well. And if you look at life from their point of view, you can kind of have that incredible relationship that people should have with their dogs and cats. So great time to call me, by the way. I got plenty of time for your calls. 866-870-5752, 866-870-KRLA. That is the phone number. As I said, if you call in and get to talk to me live, a great gift will be on its way to you. Just before I get back to the phone line, so believe it or not, this is something I wrote about years ago, and people thought I was a little eccentric. Believe it or not, dogs can have panic attacks. Did you hear me? Dogs can have panic attacks, just like humans can. Although we can't tell whether it's the same, we can't put ourselves inside the body of a dog to tell what it's feeling or thinking. In terms of fear, anxiety, and panic, though, our four-legged friends can suffer just as much as we do. Now, there are things you can do to help a dog during a panic attack, and it involves things like, obviously, providing comfort, sense of security, employing calming techniques to reduce anxiety. Bottom line is, you're not going to take a paper bag and put it over your dog's or cat head and say, breathe slowly. But dogs legitimately have panic attacks. And one of the things that I focused on in my career with as many thousands of animals I worked with is finding out or trying to find out what is the trigger point. And it's very, very difficult. Just like with human anxiety, we don't always know what's causing the anxiety. The anxiety just comes on. Sometimes that comes on with pets as well. But what I do, and I guess this makes me a little weird, and that, when I'm training, I either I'm 100% or I'm not. I actually had clients of mine keeping little diaries when their dog would be stressed out, and that really helped me resolve the issue. Once I kind of set up a pattern, resolving the issue is easy. So it's a lot more than animal behavior than just teaching a dog to heel, sit, stay down, and calm. So trainers and behaviorists, and there's some great trainers that are amazing behaviorists and vice versa, but you really have to look at the dog totally. Not just say, I'm going to resolve this problem for you. I'm going to stop your dog from the news. I'm going to stop you. No, you got to look at the total, and that's the best way to get the resolution. So the bottom line is, yes, dogs and cats can have panic attacks. As a good pet guardian, what you should do is kind of look at them and try to figure out maybe what's causing it. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. Let's go to Tella, I believe it is, in Redondo Beach. Hi, Tella. Welcome to the Pet Show.
Oh, hi, Warren. Thanks for taking my call.
It's my pleasure. What can I do for you?
I have a question for you. I have a long driveway and a backyard, which is kind of at the end of the long driveway. I can wheel in my trash cans. Our dog makes no sound at all whatsoever. A neighbor is kind enough to wheel in the trash cans at times, and the dog barks and barks. How does the dog know who's wheeling in the trash can?
Let me put on my psychic hat here. They know by the sound of the footsteps. They know by the way the trash can's being moved. Is someone rolling it in fast to have those wheels on them or slower? Their ability, their hearing ability, and their sense of smell is incredible. So let me ask you a question. If you're in the house with the dog and your neighbor wheels it in, is that when the dog barks?
Yes.
Well, what do you think the dog...
If the dog's outside, the dog barks.
But in other words, my question to you is, what do you think? The dog knows if he sees you that you're not the one wheeling it in, correct?
Yes.
And so, a lot of people would just assume that man, the dog's not smart. How's he going to realize it's not me, it's someone else? Well, if the dog sees you inside and he hears something that you do consistently being done by someone else, of course the dog's going to react to that. So yeah, it's absolutely amazing to me. What'd you say, Alex? In here? Oh, we lost a call. Oh, God. Tell her you're not there. Oh, gosh, tell her. Anyway, the bottom line, it was a great question, by the way. There are times, and in how they know it, God, you always got to get me in trouble. Here's the deal. I believe that animals have a sixth sense. I believe they know things that we don't know. And I'll give you a prime example. Years ago, when I would drive my 1970 Duster home, I had, I think, 7 dogs at that point. They would know, hey, Pop's home. I hear his car. Bottom line is, if someone else was driving that home, the mechanic was bringing it home from the shop, which was pretty common, they wouldn't react at all. Opposite to what this lady was saying. So I believe there are things they feel internally. I did a story years ago on how a dog can find its way home, and we look at, they look at the stars. Could it be the smell? Could it be this? Could it be the wind? And some people, and some really, really intelligent people from around the world said, Warren, they feel the love. That's how they find their way home. So I'm not going to argue with that. Dogs just know things, and the fact that your neighbor walks different, maybe he takes it in at a different time, the cadence of the walk, all that can make a difference. Great call, by the way, Taylor. Give me a call back. I want to send you something. Hey, the phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Do have a couple open lines. Pretty rare here on the Pet Show. So if you have a question about your dog or cat, they're jumping, they're digging, they're scratching. Do you feel guilty when you leave your dog? Does that dog give you or cat give you that look when you leave the house? Is where you going and why don't you take me with you? Love to hear from you guys as well. One of the things I'd like to see more happen on the Pet Show, and we've been doing this for many, many years, is I want to see the relationship that you have with your pets. We talk about issues you may be having. I see that Carol has a Great Dane that's jumping. We're going to talk to Carol in a little bit. I want to see the relationship. Is there a relationship? Do you find that your dog or your cat, I'd love to hear from you guys on this one. Let's say you live in a typical American family. Husband, wife, 2 husbands, 2 wives, doesn't make any difference to me. Let's say you live in that family. Do you find that your dog reacts differently to one member of the family versus another member of the family? And why do you think that is? Why do they react different to that person? Do they love that person more? Are they fearful of that person and therefore trying to get into that person's goodwill? I'd love to hear from you guys about your relationships with your pets. Not just the questions about problems, but relationships as well. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. And also, let me toss this out. I got an email this week that I could not believe. Do you know how many electronic products are coming out for dogs? This collar's electronic, it'll stop your dog from barking. This will stop your dog from running. This electronic collar will stop your dog from barking. This one will stop your dog from doing this. This one will stop your dog from doing that. I'm big. I love technical issues. I really appreciate the technicians. But the bottom line is, you know what? I am always, the only technical thing that I would advocate is like, what do you call those? Like a low jack. A low jack on a dog, so that if the dog is missing, it can be fine. And the only other thing I really endorse is, and this is, I'm hearing more and more about this, is certain rescues around the country are now starting to use drones to help people find their lost pets. So they're using drones, and it's been pretty successful. So I think, and I asked this, I think, a couple of weeks ago, I'd love to hear from more people that think it's a good idea. Is anyone doing it? I don't know. Is anyone doing it in Southern California, using drones to help people find their lost pets? Give me a call. I'd love to hear from you. Again, the phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Let's do this. Let me take a break. When we come back, we got Carol calling, we have Bruce calling, we have Pat calling. We'll get to your calls. Great calls, by the way. 866-870-5752. And the question of the day is, kind of surprised. I mean, do you have conversations with your dogs and your cats? If you had more conversations with your pets, you might have to call me less about issues you may be having with them. I think having that relationship where you can literally talk, I know it sounds crazy, but you literally talk and have conversations with your dogs and cats can make all the difference in terms of the relationship. I guarantee you that the people that spend more time talking with their dogs and cats have the closest relationship with their pets. So if you're a talker to your dog or cat, I'd love to hear from you. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. Send you a great gift. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Still coming up, we're going to take a look at litter box issues. One of the most common things, and we get a lot of calls about that, so I kind of put together an entire report. We'll talk about that in a little bit. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. A quick break, then back to your phone calls. Listen. And we are back on the Pet Show. The phones are jamming. We're going to get to all your calls. I promise. I read this article this week on don't be rude around other people's pets. I'll share it with you later. But one thing really struck me, and one of the things I see all the time, I just saw it in my own neighborhood. I hide in my neighborhood. People have no idea what I do for a living in my neighborhood. They have no idea. I won't tell them either. Bottom line is this. You should never give unsolicited advice about someone's dog. I heard a neighbor giving advice to another person walking their dog the other day. The dog was walking down the street. It was like a schnoodle type mix, a beautiful little dog, maybe weighed 25 pounds. My neighbor down the block, who is a retired mechanic from UCLA, is giving advice saying to her, listen, what you need to do, you need to get one of those prong collars and put it on the dog and she won't pull you anymore. This was a 30-pound or a 35-pound schnoodle. Unbelievable. Do not give unsolicited advice. If someone you see is having an issue with their pet, maybe you should send them to a professional. Tell them to tune into the Pet Show. Please, no unsolicited advice unless you really know what you're talking about. I don't give advice on cars, and maybe some people shouldn't be giving advice on pets. All right, the phones are busy. I'm going to go right down the list here, try to get as many people as I can. We're going to take a break at the top of the hour. We got a whole other hour to go, but right now it's Carol in Riverside. Hey, Carol, welcome to the Pet Show.
Hi, Warren. Thanks for being there for us.
Oh, it's my joy. What's up?
We have rescued two Great Dane puppies, a male and a female.
Getting a lot of sleep. Getting a lot of sleep, are you?
Well, actually, they're pretty good. We have one of our family members that was getting up at 2 in the morning and 4 in the morning to take them out, but right now they seem to be settled. But the male is great. The female, we're having a little bit of a problem with. We have a member of our family that had a major open heart surgery.
Yeah.
And she is 70 pounds at 5 months. 7 months, excuse me. My daughter's here, too. That's her dog, actually. And she has a tendency to jump up on people a lot.
What are you doing? What are you doing right now? When what are you doing right now? When she goes to jump on this relative with the heart scenario, what are you doing?
Well, actually pushing her off and saying off.
See, that becomes a game. That's the way puppies play. One puppy pushes the other one, they come back. They get pushed again, they come back. They get pushed again, they come back. Have you ever considered just doing some good, solid, basic training to have the control over the dog? So rather than focus on telling her no, you can focus on telling her sit, stay, down, come. In other words, by getting the basics across, what we can do is teach her how to respond with the yes word versus the no word. I'm going to talk about that later because the most important thing we can teach any dog is not the word no, but the word yes. I really think at 7 months old, and I am a major Great Dane fan. All the big guys, I love them all. What color, by the way, are they?
The male is black with white trim, and they have the most beautiful ice blue eyes, both of them. And she's like a fawn color with black trim.
They got to be gorgeous. And so the bottom
they are beautiful.
Here's the bottom line, okay? They're 7 months old. They're big dogs already. They're not going to get smaller, I promise. I think some good, solid training in your home with the family will make all the difference in the world for you. And once you have these, they're mellow dogs. Once you have them trained, and as they get older, like many large breeds, they become aware of their size. And with the basic training, what you can do is control the dog in situations like around your relative with a heart condition, because the more you say no, the more apt the dog is to want to jump on that same person.
We did do some basic training. We had a trainer come here to our home, and we can basically take them on walks, and they're pretty good.
But that's not your problem. Yeah. That's not your problem. The problem is jumping on the person with the heart condition. Hey, hire me. I'm joking. If I were to come to you, I would say, listen, Carol, what's the biggest problem you're having with your dog? It's jumping on people. I'll say, okay, Carol, no problem. I'll teach him how to walk on the street. Work on the problem. They needed to focus on the basic training. You need to do some basic training. Now, I can send you a copy of the book. How old is your daughter?
My daughter is 50.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm assuming.
The dog?
No, the daughter.
Yeah, my daughter is 50.
Okay, she's an adult. I just want to know if she's an adult. If I send you a copy of the book, I'm going to send you a copy of how to get your dog to do what you want. You can go to my website or YouTube. There's some great videos there. But don't get frustrated. They're 7 months old. Remember, they've only been alive 7 times 4 is what, 28? No, what is 7 times 4? Come on. 7 times 4. Whatever it is. 28 years. Thank you, Alex. They haven't been. I didn't go to school that day. They haven't been alive that long. They've been alive 28 weeks. Educate them. Just because they're bigger doesn't mean that they don't need that training. Train them now. By the way, the larger the breed, the slower the maturity rate. So normally, another dog might be fully mature at 6 months old. They won't be fully mature until probably like a year and a half, maybe even a little bit longer than that.
Mm-hmm.
But
in the interim, what do we do? We were going to buy your book, so if we're getting it, that's fabulous because I just found your show and it's wonderful. But is there anything we can do in the interim to make sure we're doing the right thing with her?
Yeah, in other words, I would use a little distraction therapy. So what I would do is find one toy that the dog absolutely adores, at least for now. I don't care what it is. It could be a rag, could be a fish. It doesn't make any difference. Find that one toy. The only time she gets that toy is when she's around that person with the heart condition. When she's not with the heart condition, that toy comes away. So when that person's around, her focus is more on the toy rather than the person. Just for now, that's just a distraction. The book will guide you a little bit further.
Okay, that's great. I'm anxious to get it. Thank you so much.
And listen, but I
Carol,
want you to do this. I want you to go to my YouTube channel. There's some great videos there. It's simply youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. Subscribe to it. It's free. There's some great videos there. And when the book comes, follow through. In the meantime, you can call me again if you have more questions, but basic training is the way to resolve it. And I'm putting you on hold, and the lovely Suzette will pick up, and a book will be on its way. A quick break, then right back to Pat, Bruce, Mary. We got Susan. We'll get to all your calls right after this. 866-870 KRLA. I'm Warren Eckstein, and you are listening to The Pet Show. I was just watching my buddy Soupy Sal. I used to love Soupy Sal. He was a friend of mine. Miss him. Just watch his show. His show's, I think, on Jewish television. Anyway, I caught the Soupy Sal show the other day. All right, here's the deal, okay? We have to break in a couple of minutes for the top of the hour. But some great calls coming in. I want to get to Pat in Chadsworth. She has a rescued husky that goes crazy till they leave the house. I want to go to her. I want to go to Bruce. I can't get his dog to bark. We can resolve that. Mary, we'll get to your call. Susan, we'll get to your call as well. Great time to give me a call. But I want people to understand that very often when I'm talking about educating a dog, and you can use the word training, educating, whatever you want to do, it's so important that it's done in a positive, upbeat way. And from my perspective, it's so important. Now, you remember, I talk about this every week. I did some of the most advanced training in the world with Schutzen and French ring sport and Belgian ring sport training. That's fine and dandy. But for the average person, the person that's calling me here on KRLA with a question about their rescue dog or their cat is a question that is easy for me to answer, because what we're doing here, it needs to be taken care of where the problem takes place. For example, with the woman who said, the guy who said, Steve, who said, should I send my dog away? Well, the dog's not having the problem when he's away. And plus the fact, there might be some great trainers out there and there's some great boarding facilities as well. But personally, I want to understand. I want to see who's working with my dog. I want to watch the type of training on a regular basis. We'll talk more about that. Get to all your calls, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Plenty of time for your calls. Lots of great stuff to give away. Check out youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. We are now. A quick break, then right back at you on Warren Eckstein. You're listening to The Pet Show.
Eckstein, the man for your pets. We tried to stumble, but we haven't yet. Your dog is barking, your cat missed the box. Your ferret's chewed up all your favorite socks. You sure knows how to get inside your pet's head.
And if you love your dogs and cats and really want to understand why they behave the way they do, maybe in a positive way, maybe they're chewing, maybe they're jumping, maybe they're barking, maybe they're humping, maybe your cat's not using the litter box, you have come to the right place. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show. Been on now for almost 44 years answering people's questions. In fact, I'm going to get to you guys in a second. I got the greatest compliment I ever got this week, okay? All the years I've been on TV, but I enjoy radio much more than I enjoy TV for all the years I did it. And the reason for that is someone told me this week, Warren, the reason I listen to your show and have been listening to your show for over 30 years is simply this. It's our show. It's not just your show. It's our show. You answer more questions and take more phone calls on your show than probably any other talk show in America. You can sit there and you can preach if I wanted to. You can talk about this and I do my topics, but this show is our show. That's why it's been on as long as it's been on, because it's your show as well as mine. It's a conversation. That's what radio is to me, a conversation, not just me preaching to you about my beliefs and what you should do and what you shouldn't do, although sometimes I'm right, but it's a combination of talking back and forth. It's conversation. That's what the Pet Show is all about. And at the same time, helping people resolve any issues in a positive way they may have with their pets. Just before I get back to the phone, this made me laugh. I talked about this a week ago, but if you missed it, you missed it. So many of my listeners want to figure out what their dogs are. So they do these DNA tests on their dog. They send it away. I don't know what it costs. And it comes back, my dog's part Schnauzer, part Cocker Spaniel, part Great Dane, part this, part that, whatever. And for years, people said, wow, now I know what my dog is. Well, a journalist decided to take this one step further. So she had her dog tested, the DNA of her dog tested, and it came back with a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of this. Then she looked at her dog and said, I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. So what she did is she took her own DNA and she sent her own DNA to the same company that analyzed her dog's DNA, and she told them it was dog's DNA she was sending when it was in fact her human DNA. And it came back that the woman was part Schnoodle, part boxer, and part pit bull. So how accurate are these things? Because it was a human DNA test, and it came back telling her she was a generic breed of dog with many varieties. Unbelievable. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through to the show. The question of the day is pretty simple. Do you talk to your pets and have conversations with them? I'm going to take you guys exactly in the order you called, but I will get to all your calls. Right now, I'm going to Chatsworth and Pat. Hi, Pat. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Thank you for taking my call. We rescued it's a Siberian Husky with a little golden retriever in it, and it's about 14 months old, and it's a lovable dog. We love him to death. He's bonded really well with our 12-year-old golden retriever. However, as soon as we leave the house, he destroys it.
Yeah, well, let's go. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Okay, first of all, I'm a major Husky person. I love Huskies, brilliant dogs. But do you know any background on the dog at all, Pat? Was he abandoned? Was he at a shelter? Give me some background.
They said that he was one of 5 siblings, and this lady, we got him from the Pasadena Humane Society.
Yeah.
And somebody came in to rescue them because the lady had too many animals.
Okay, so in other words,
when we went to the rescue, they had all his siblings with them.
Okay, so in other words, when you adopted this dog, you adopted a dog that had been spending the majority of its time around other dogs and not people. Now, when you leave the house, I'm assuming him and your golden stay together the whole time?
Yes.
And you know that it's the Husky that's destroying the house and not the golden?
Yeah.
Okay, let me tell you what I think's going on here. I think we have a scenario where we have what we call abandonment issues. Remember, this dog had lived with its siblings for several months. Then it came to your home, never to see its siblings again. Comes to your home, bonds really well with your family, then your family leaves. So what goes on in this dog's mind is, well, maybe they're not coming back at all. So this is more than separation anxiety. This is actually an abandonment issues. So what we need to do is build build up the dog's confidence and let him understand that it's not like what may have happened to him in the past. Every time you leave, you are coming back. How do we do that? I talk about this often. What I want you to do is, even when you're home, just practice going into different rooms for a couple of minutes and then coming out. Also practice letting the dog out in the yard, going out the front door, coming in the back door, going out the back door, coming in the front door. Also, Huskies are incredibly bright dogs. This means they pick up on every little thing you do. So when you go to pick up your purse, or you go to pick up your car keys, or you go to put a jacket on, or even grab an umbrella to go outside, that dog realizes that you're leaving at that point, and that triggers that separation or that abandonment issue in the dog's mind. So what we need to do is you need to practice going out of the house without taking your keys and just going out for a minute and coming back in. Also, I want you to understand that because they're so bright, Pat, that if you say, I love you, you're my favorite, goodbye, I'll see you in a little bit, all of that is trigger points for the dog as well. So if you're leaving, just leave. Just leave. I also recommend leaving a radio on, a relatively loud volume with voices. Let me recommend the station to you. How about KRLA? Besides all of
I
his...
actually do leave the radio on.
Great. So, yeah, Dennis will calm him down, I promise. The other thing you need to do...
The only thing we do is sometimes we give him a treat when we go out the door, but we'll stop doing that.
Well, no, I listen. I don't mind the treat going out the door, but yeah, I do kind of mind. Let me go back, because now he knows when you give him the treat, you're going away for a long period of time. So don't give him the treat. Don't give him the treat. Just say goodbye, and don't even say goodbye. Just go. But you need to practice short periods of time. And every time you go away and come back, little by little, that confidence, that self-esteem builds up in him, and the fear of you leaving him for good dissipates. You know, so many trainers use the term separation anxiety. I wish a lot more trainers would spend a lot more time understanding that it's not always separation, it's the fear of you not coming back, those abandonment issues. Big difference there. I remember studying in Europe, learning the difference, because I was the same way. Oh, separation. No, I studied with someone who actually convinced me, after it took a lot of convincing and maybe even a couple of beers and a Steinhagel, but he convinced me, and since then I've totally accepted the fact that there's a big difference between separation anxiety and abandonment issues. Sometimes they kind of correlate together, but that's what I think is going on. But if you follow my advice little by little, he will come around. Also, if you can, try to give him a little aerobics class before you leave. That could be helpful. And also, if you want to give him one of his meals or a little bit of his meals before you leave, a full stomach generally calms them down as well. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a product. It's relatively new. It's made by my friends over at Nature Vet. Suzette, write this one down, because I'm going to send them the No Scoot for calming, and it has melatonin in it. You can give that to the dog. Maybe you follow the instructions. It's all natural, made right here in Temecula. That might just take a little bit of the edge off, but if you follow the advice I gave you, altogether, eventually, I promise, you can leave the house, and when you come back, it'll be in the same shape as you left it, except for a couple of dog hairs here and there. How's that sound?
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
No, listen, so tell me about your older Golden. Do you have conversations with your dogs? Do you talk to them?
Yeah, I always talk to them. In fact, the weird thing is our older dog was a very mellow dog, and we had a chow that passed away at 14, and he was just a totally different dog with this dog. He's like a puppy now, and they play all the time, and they're running around chasing each other, But I have conversations with all of them. We love, like.
Well, sometimes it works. Sometimes bringing a younger dog in around an older dog works great for a couple of reasons. Number one, it helps with the socialization. More important, it brings back life into the older dog, saying, "Hey, I got to take care of this little guy. He's getting into my face here. Let me start acting like a puppy again." And so I think it's a great idea. But also, you're going to start seeing that the Golden's going to start doing some of the training on the Husky as well. But in the meantime, don't go anywhere. I'm going to put you on hold. We're going to send you some Nature Vet's calming scoopables. So just write that down, because I don't usually give this away, but we're going to send those scoopables for calming the dog down on its way to you. Great call, by the way. I really appreciate it. Hey, the phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Who is holding on the longest here? We are going to Bruce in LA. Hey, Bruce, welcome to the show.
Hey, Dr. Warren, how are you?
You can call me Warren, Bruce. That's okay. What's up?
Good. Thanks for taking my call. I have a poodle pointer, and I talked to you before about her. She won't bark, and you told me to get down on my all fours and ring the doorbell every time the doorbell rings, bark like incessantly like a dog, and she just looked at me.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last thing you said. Oh, Bruce.
So I said I got down on all fours and started barking, and she just looked at me. I've been doing that for a couple of weeks now.
So you didn't take me seriously, Bruce, when I said you should get down and bark, did you?
I did.
No, you should. No, I was being. No, you're right. That's exactly what I said, and that's exactly what you should be doing. So you've been doing it for a couple of weeks now. When you get down on all fours and you start barking at the door, what's your dog's reaction?
She just looked at me. Like, What are you doing?
Does she come next to you?
No, she stands close to me, but she's standing forward in front of me, looking at me.
And let me hear the type of bark you're using when you get down on all fours. Man, that's the most boring bark I ever heard. What I want you to try to do is really gender up some enthusiasm. Get the dog excited even before you go to that door. Get the dog excited. Chase her around. Let her chase you around. Get that adrenaline kicking in. Then go to the door. Then start barking. She may just spin around a little bit, but that's how you're ultimately going to get her to bark. If she has a voice, I'm assuming she does, that's the way to get her to bark. That's the only way to get the dog to bark is when she barks once. Obviously, you're going to start praising her, but get her more excited. Don't just get down and bark at the front door. Really get her psyched up, chase her around, get her real excited before you go there. That will help it. Now, it's going to take more than a couple of weeks. I don't know. Was this a rescue dog you had?
No.
And you've had it since
I've had her from 8 weeks. Yeah, she's almost 18 months old now.
And she's never barked?
Nope. She barks at squirrels.
And what do you say when she barks at squirrels?
I don't say anything. I just let her bark at the squirrel.
All right, I'm going to tell you to do something that I would never tell anyone else to do, okay? So listen to me really carefully. When the dog is chasing squirrels and barking, say what you want to say. Get the squirrel. Chase the squirrel. I know this sounds horrible to people, but the dog's not going to catch the squirrel, I can tell you. Get the squirrel. This way she associates the barking with those words. Then what I would do is practice maybe having someone come towards the front door, and when you're there, besides getting down, say, get the squirrel, because she already associates that term with the barking outside. Does that make sense to you?
It does. Perfect.
That's what I want you to do. See, we can get the dog, but Bruce, you got to bark better. Yeah, I never heard a dog bark like that in my life. Come on. It's like people, rough. I've never heard a dog go rough. Then just get them really excited, but psych them up beforehand and make all the difference in the world for you. How long ago did I speak to you, Bruce?
Oh, it's been about 2 months.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm not going to send you a gift. I'm going to donate that gift to an organization, and I appreciate that phone call. By the way, for the gifts I give out, and they are gifts, if you want to find out what the rules and regulations are in terms of how often I can give them the same person, I just go to my website, thepetshow.com, and it's all documented right there. Yeah, Alex, I'm looking at the clock. I know what time it is. I know I got to go to a commercial break. Let me do this. The phone number, I got 2 open lines, 866-870-KRLA, 870-5752. That is the way to get through. Let me take a quick break here, and then I'll get right back to all of your calls. 866-870-5752. I still got my own hugs and kisses to give away. So a lot of the items I have to give away are on the more expensive side, some worth as much as $40 or $50. I got Arthur Gold. I got the books, Hugs and Kisses supplement, my own, Lucy Pet Food, all natural flea spray, and those T-shirts that say none of my friends walk upright. Now, you're going to hear me pushing those T-shirts a little bit more, and here's why. The bottom line is those T-shirts support the Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund, which has now helped small mom and pop organizations in all 50 states. So you can go to hugsandkissesanimalfund.org and make a donation there. I wish you would. Not one penny is spent on anything but going directly to the small organizations all over the country, the ones who do the bulk of the work. So check out hugsandkissesanimalfund.org, and if you can, make a donation. I guarantee every penny goes directly to the fund. not 1 cent. I pay all the expenses out of my pocket. Hey, the phone number here, 866-870-KRLA. Still got lots of great stuff to give away. Plenty of time for your calls. 866-870-5752. Quick break, then right back at you. All right, so I just got a text message, and I'm growling, and I'm foaming at the mouth, and I'm really, really upset about the text message I just got. Someone texted me and said, Warren, you should stop recommending people adopt dogs and cats from shelters and rescues. You should stop recommending people from adopting dogs and cats at rescues. The reason I say that is because dogs and cats that are rescued often have baggage and don't turn out to be great pets. They turn out to be pets with a lot of problems. Boy, do I wish I could curse on the air, but I can't, Alex, right? I know you got that 7-second delay and you won't let me do it. Can you imagine someone sending me a text like that saying, don't advocate for rescuing dogs and cats. Come on, guys, bail me out on this one. Give me a call. Let me know what you would say to someone who texted you that information. The phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Hey, guys, back me up on this one. If you rescued a dog or rescued a cat and they turn out to be as great as 99% of them do, how can someone have the audacity to listen to my show and know me and tell me that I should not recommend that people rescue dogs and cats because they come with baggage? Boy, oh boy, is my hair standing. What do you think? Give me a call. Let me know. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Boy, does that anger me. Let me take a quick call, and hopefully the phones start ringing, and you guys bail me out on this one. Come on now. How many people, how many of my listeners out there adopted rescue dogs and rescue cats, took them off the streets, and they turned out to be fabulous? What would this person want to do? Kill all those dogs and cats? Shame on them. Shame on them for texting me about it anyway. Hey, Mary, Santa Ana, welcome to the Pet Show.
Hi, Warren. Yes, I have all sorts of rescue pets, and they all have baggage, but I love them. And get past the problems just like you do with your children.
There you go. You got to give them some time to adjust and sometimes to adapt. You know what? I always tell people when you save a dog or cat and you rescue them, that down the road they understand what you've done and they pay you back every single day for the rest of their lives.
You love them.
Yeah, so tell me about your dog. Tell me about your dog and parakeets. I'm curious.
My little dog is a rescue. She's 12 years old now. She's a little 18-pound, little white, like a Westie mixed dog, and she has her problems. She has the normal fears, like fireworks, loud noises, but my granddaughter got herself a pet parakeet, and this dog is so fearful of that parakeet, she goes into like a panic attack. She starts shaking, running away, hiding under furniture.
Does the parakeet live with you?
No, it's with my granddaughter, but my granddaughter wants me to take care of it for 6 weeks when she goes on vacation. And I'm wondering if I should even bother. That's in December.
Well, first of all, it's understandable. Listen, when you come across a new species, whether it be a human or an animal, they're going to react if they're not familiar with it. What I would do at this point, and this may sound again a little out of range, is you can actually have your granddaughter download the sound of a parakeet or parakeets, and when she's not around and when the parakeet's not around, you can play that at a low volume to desensitize your dog to the sound of a parakeet. That's number one.
That's a
number
good idea.
two is I would take a washcloth and get the scent of the parakeet on the washcloth, and I would bring that over. The other thing that I would do at this point is maybe go out and get yourself an inexpensive second cage. What I would do is in that second parakeet cage in the home, I would take some of the soiled parakeet stuff from your granddaughter's house, some of the food and water, just leave it there. So the cage is there, but the bird isn't there. This way she gets assimilated to the cage without the bird. That in conjunction with desensitizing her to the sound. And I promise you one day they will get together. I remember a cockatiel that I rescued from someone that was abusing it, and him and my dog at the time did not get along. And after a few weeks of working with them, what I found out is the cockatiel liked to ride on the dog's head. So it will come around, but it's going to take a little time and a little patience there, Mary.
Yeah, I better start working on it.
There you go.
Because just going into my granddaughter's house, if she just sees the cage there, she starts panicking.
But see, now she's more confident in her own home. So we want to get a cage in your home without the parakeet. Let her get used to the cage first. And once we do that, the adjustment will be a whole lot easier.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'll work on that.
Oh, Mary, don't go in there. I'm going to put you on hold, and I am going to send you, you know what? I'm going to send you some hugs and kisses for your dog, some hugs and kisses, and they'll be fine with that parakeet in no time at all. Let me do this. I'm going to have to take a break. When we come back, Jennifer, I want to get to your call. Grace, I want to get to your call. God, you guys are going to bail me out on this one. Michelle, I want to get to your call as well. So again, my question, this person texted me and said, Warren, I've never got a text like that before. Why would you advocate people rescue and adopt dogs and cats? They come with baggage, they come with problems, and oh God, my hair is standing up. the hundreds and hundreds of dogs and cats I've rescued, the tens of thousands of dogs I found homes for on the various TV shows and other things I was involved with. How could someone even say something like that? Where does that come from? I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I'd love to hear from you guys as well, especially people that have adopted dogs. Sure, you went through some changes with them, but we talked about giving them the opportunity, that 3-month span to adapt. I don't understand it at all. It makes me absolutely crazy. The phone number here, 866-870-KRLA. We're going to get to all your calls right after this, but right now, listen to me carefully. And we are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. We're going to get to Jennifer, Grace, Michelle, David, Joy. Hopefully we'll get to all your calls. In fact, right now, I wanted to do this litter box stuff. Hopefully I'll get to it. If I don't get to all the reasons, a lot of people don't know. There are many, many reasons why cats stop using the litter box: diabetes, arthritis, other things. If I don't get to talk about that today, I will post it on my YouTube channel this week. Again, if you're not subscribing to my YouTube channel, it's free. What are you waiting for? YouTube.com/Warren Eckstein. Lots of great videos there to check out. But right now, let me go to Jennifer first, and then we're going to go to Grace, Michelle, David, and Joy. Hey, Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Hi, Warren. How are you?
I am doing good, Jennifer. How about you?
I'm trying to stay calm. I had a question about Luna, but in this case, I'm just going to be brief. First of all, I want to send a message to this guy that said that about not adopting dogs that are with illnesses, whatever. First of all, I want to say that Salma Hayek has 9 dogs in her mansion. If I was rich and won the lottery, I would buy a mansion and rescue all kinds of dogs. This jerk needs to mind his own business. If you can hear me, shut the blank off. I wish you were an animal so you could feel the desperation if someone was to adopt you. I would like you to say in your mind, you know what? Take me and rescue me. I'm very upset. I'm very angry for this jerk to have said that. I'm not a big fan of Salma Hayek, but I love her because she rescues animals and dogs.
Yeah, I to be honest with you, I admire. I don't even know who Salma Hayek is, but I admire her for anyone who rescues. But listen, I appreciate your passion, and I got a feeling that Grace, Michelle, David, and Joy.
My heart is beating right now.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
I want to cry.
No.
Warren, I want you to always, please always speak up about people adopting, no matter if they're babies or older. Because if you do not, I'm going to stop listening to you, and I won't love you anymore. Always say on the radio to please adopt dogs.
Jennifer, anyone who knows,
there, you ugly jerk.
And Jennifer, calm down. Jennifer, calm down. I agree. Listen, anyone who knows me knows that not only am I an advocate, obviously, for rescuing, but my life, I put my life on the line, and I mean that seriously. I'm not just talking about adopting a dog, literally, I put my life on the line. Remind me one day to tell you about rescuing dogs from I'll tell you another time about it, because they're going to stop me crying, and that's the last thing we want to do. Anyway, listen, Jennifer, I love you, and I admire your passion. Go ahead.
Thank you. Regards to saying goodbye, I just left my home a few minutes ago, and I usually tell Luna I kissed her, and of course I always play music in the background on YouTube, and I always tell her, I grab her by the chin, and I give her a kiss, and I tell her, Luna, I'll be back. Mama will be back, okay? So you be good girl, okay? And I love you so much, and I leave. Is that okay for me?
Oh, that's perfect. In other words, the only reason I told the other person, that's great. The only reason I told the other person not to say goodbye is by saying goodbye, they were triggering the dog to react in an action. Yeah, no, listen, I say goodbye to I say Willie, Molly, goodbye. I'll be home in a couple hours, I promise. What channel do you want to watch on TV? I'll leave you this, I'll leave you that. I promise I'll bring you a gift. Yeah, no, you're absolutely fine. Listen, Jennifer, I got to move on. What kind of pet do you have right now? What kind of pets?
Thank you. I love you so much. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. I see it says donate. I love my listeners. They're the best. But I mean, I can't believe that someone would have the audacity to send me a text like that. But you know what? That's how some people actually believe, and that's the scariest part. Let me go to Grace in San Marino. Hey, Grace, welcome to the Pet Show.
Thank you for being there for all of us, for everything. I won't waste a lot of time. I'll just get to the point. This man that called in does not deserve really to have relationships or children, a wife. because if he demands 100% take, like worrying about what issues they are, he is not. He's sick. He wants to just take. He doesn't really care. And throughout my whole life, I'm not young now. Throughout my whole life, our family, we always had adopted pets, always rescue, because that's the really good thing to do, because it's not their fault. It's people like him that stick all the animals into a horrible situation, and they are the ones that are really crappy as
they have
kind of parents.
Some people,
right?
Some people have this revolving pet mentality.
They're
they
sick.
have this. They are sick, and you know what? Generally speaking,
sick.
Lots of times it's handed down from adults to children, and it really scares me when someone talks like that. And I mean this seriously. I mean, I'm not pushing it, but if everybody's out there read my autobiography, you can see.
And you know what? The real truth is, they're the worst perpetrators. They're the ones we should be scared of. He's worried about the animal not being perfect. He's the most disgusting,
Grace,
non-compassionate person that causes all the problems in the world.
Grace, you're right
they
on.
Want to take, and they're really crappy. They don't have compassion. They're sick.
Grace, you're right on target. Listen, I know it says donate your gift, but I don't want to donate your gift. I'm going to put you on hold. Suzette's going to pick up, and I'm going to send you a T-shirt. The bottom line is that if anyone's read my autobiography out there, you know that the majority of my career, before I started doing media, I was a peace officer for New York State. I was involved with the League for Animal Protection and Pets Are just so many different organizations. My entire life, ever since I could walk upright, was based on one principle, that I believe that animals have rights just as much as people. And I believe that animals that have been mistreated, animals that have been abused, really deserve a chance for a good, healthy, happy life as any living thing, whether it be human or animal. And for someone to just assume that if a dog has issues or if a cat has issues, they shouldn't be adopted because they can't resolve those issues, I don't know where that's coming from. I don't know if they're watching too much TV. I don't know if they're talking to too many people that have no comprehension about behavior at all. But the bottom line is this, okay? I can honestly say, and again, ego aside, that in the years that I've been working with animals, and I started my company over 50 years, so the years I've been working with animals, both in the United States, in Europe, in Asia, in all over, in the years I've been working with animals, my focus has always been on finding homes for as many dogs and cats as I possibly can. And what happened years ago, and I serve on the board of directors for the oldest, largest no-kill shelter in the United States, okay? And the reason I went on that board is because I found that what I could do is that with my knowledge, my expertise in animal behavior, and that's the only thing I know. I don't know cars. I don't know anything. I don't know music. Denise will tell you, I can't name a song. I don't know anything. But I do know animals. I do know their behavior. I spent every single day, 24 hours, 7 days a week in Europe learning what I needed to learn. And the bottom line is, there are so many people out there giving really, really bad advice. Everyone's looking for that perfect dog. Everyone's looking to be the boss over their dog. Let me tell you, the first and best relationship that you can have is with an adopted dog or an adopted cat. You need to give them that time to decompress. You need to give them that time to de-energize. You need to give them that time to go through whatever they have to go through. Dogs go through PTSD just like people do. I actually coined the term PTSD for dogs when I was working many, many years ago, and I was working with veterans at that time on the East Coast. The bottom line is that text really got to me. It really got to me because there are people out there that believe that. Granted, not everyone is going to believe or be as eccentric about animals as maybe my listeners are, or as maybe as I am. But at least they can do is have the humanity to give those dogs and cats that have been dealt a bad hand, a good hand, a hand up, and a shot forward. They at least deserve that from people like you and me. Phone number here, 866-870-KRLA. Let me take a break, calm down, have some more decaf. I'll be right back at you, Michelle, David, and Joy. Appreciate your calls. We'll get right to you. If you want to join in, give me a call, 866-870-KRLA. I'm Warren Eckstein. You're listening to The Pet Show. And we are back on the Pet Show. Alex, what song is this? Oh, it's called Lily. We are back up. There we go. Now the music starts. Hey, we're back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. I told you about that text I just got, and it really kind of got to me. And I think people need to understand. And part of my autobiography is up on my YouTube channel. I wish some of you can read it, because you listen to me on the show. You've been hearing me on the show for many, many years. But my start, besides the behavior and the training, and my start was doing nothing. My first wife, Faye, and I started the Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund based on the fact that no one else was really going in and rescuing some of these animals with physical challenges and disabilities. That's how the Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund got started. And to this day, what we do is the Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund, that's my own 501c3, is we only donate to the small mom and pops all over the country. In fact, we donated to every single state right now. I mean, people and here's my criteria. No one in the group can have a salary. There can't be thousands of dollars sitting in any bank account. And the money we send must be used directly to help the animals. And we do research like you've never done before. So if you want to help me out with that, and we can always use your help, because there's always more organizations, either small mom and pops you never heard of. We send this one 500, this one 1,000, this one 600. Check out hugsandkissesanimalfund.org. hugsandkissesanimalfund.org. Let me get back to the phone lines here, and let's see who did we just spoke to Grace. So let me go to who's up next here. We got Michelle. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Michelle. Welcome to the show.
Egypt?
Hey, Michelle. Welcome.
Thank you.
What's up?
Thank you.
Hi, Michelle.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. I'm livid. I already did my crying. I'm really sorry they sent you that email. You are an angel to animals. I've been an advocate in rescuing dogs for 35 years at mainly kill shelters in California. And it breaks my heart that someone can think like that when my dogs have all been rescue dogs, and they are excellent. They're not perfect, but they're very, very good dogs.
And you still with me, Michelle? God, did we lose?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. A lot of people, and this is the other part that really gets to me, okay, not from this email, but there's things I hear on a regular basis, is that people will go, and they'll go to a shelter with the intentions of adopting a dog or a cat. They'll adopt a dog or a cat, they'll bring it home, and after a day or two, they bring it back and say it's not working out. That is do they have any idea how much trauma that causes to a dog that's taken from a shelter and then brought back to a shelter? I just don't understand. And for people to say that adopting or rescuing a dog is not the way to go, what does he want? Everyone to go out and buy their dogs from breeders and see all the problems that goes on with that? I just didn't understand it. That's why it got me so upset. I'm sorry I got upset.
That guy's vile. He's just vile. And I will tell you that everybody, if I see somebody with a dog, is it a rescue? Oh, you had puppies. Did you fix your dog? When I have people, I'm rescuing 24/7 in Philippines and sponsoring in Africa and Russia and you name it. Like you, I've been doing this for a very, very long time. I have 7 huge canines right now that I've rescued, and they are my life. I gave up my husband for my dogs. I did.
I'm not laughing. My listeners understand that. If you were to say that on another radio station, or even to some of the shows, if you were to say, I gave up my husband for my dog, they would have men in white coats standing in front of your house taking you away. Instead, I would send you flowers and chocolate.
Oh, well, because I also rescue wolves and wolf dogs, and it's just that dogs are amazing. I love them more than people. I'm sure you've heard that a million times. You do an amazing job. I always tell people, listen to him, go listen to him, go listen to him on Saturday, go on YouTube, go sponsor and give to Delta. If you find a dog in the desert, get it over there. You are like the only one we have pretty much in America that people can turn to for help. You are. And me rescuing, I stand by you, and it's 24/7 rescuing these dogs, and they mean more to me than humans. And I'm so sorry, and I already did my crying, and I think you're amazing, and that guy might be a breeder, he might be vile, but I always tell people, go to a kill shelter. Go to a kill shelter and rescue, because they're killing them all day, every day.
You're so on time. Listen, Michelle, bless you. I'd love to give you a hug. Maybe someday I'll do a seminar. We can all get together and cry together. But don't go anywhere. I'm putting you on hold, and you're going to get a T-shirt as well that says "None of my friends walk upright," and I appreciate that call. Gosh. I guess I should have expected that you people would react the way you reacted. I mean, I know how I reacted, but this is not the first time. And I want to get this across, okay? I'm not an abolitionist, okay? In other words, I don't believe that every professional breeder is bad, but I think that for the average person, the majority of people, 99% of people that are looking for a dog or a cat, you're going to find that dog or cat at a shelter. And what do you care what it looks like? You fall in love with the inside of a dog, not the outside. I've had as many as 33 rescue dogs at one time, some with 3 legs, some with 1 ear. And you know what? After a day or two, you have no idea what they look like. You fall in love with their heart. That's what it's all about. You fall in love with the heart and the soul. And anyone who can say that animals should not be rescued or adopted because they come with baggage, God, that person needs more analysis than I could ever give them. Let me take a quick break. We'll get back to a couple of more calls right after this. But right now, listen, I want to brag a little bit about my Hugs and Kisses supplement, which, by the way, I donate Hugs and And we are back on the Pet Show. David, I'm not going to get to your call, so give me, if you want to call me on the national show, I'll give you that number in a little bit. Why did I know that my friend Joy was going to call? So let me go right to Joy. Hey, Joy. Joy, I know you could talk for an hour, but you got a minute, so hurry up and tell me what you think.
I know. Hey, Warren. Okay, so you know that I am just flabbergasted. I'm angry. I'm every adjective, verb, noun you can think of. I know we're very limited for time, but I just wanted to share a very, very quick story. And I don't know if you remember, but our last adopt-a-thon at Ventura County, you assessed a dog. It was a little cattle dog that was up for humane euthanasia, and we all know that's basically a soft term for murder.
Yeah.
You assessed the dog for this lovely family. They adopted the dog, immediately took the dog to training. That dog is now 11 years old and has 3 human children that he watches over. This is a dog that we were told had behavioral issues, and that's why he was going to be murdered. So to that person who felt that he could say things about an average animal, I beg to differ. I'm sorry. And you know the animals that we adopt. We do a lot of behavioral dogs as well.
Absolutely. Joy,
so,
it's interesting that you brought that up. And I just wish I had more time to evaluate more dogs. So many dogs are killed based on the fact that they've been misevaluated by people at different locations. And they would have made perfect pets for everyone. And I'm so glad that this dog I was able to evaluate. I didn't have a whole lot of time to evaluate him, but I was able to evaluate him. That was, 11 years ago? Joy? Gosh. Anyway, I got to go, Joy.
He's a huge member of their family.
I got to run, Joy. Listen, I feel a lunch coming on between us.
Oh, I can't wait. Have a great day.
Take care.
And say hi to Denise. Thank you for all you do, Warren. I love you.
Thank you. Hey, David, anyone else? You can give me a call. Let me give you the phone number for the network show. Starts in about 3 minutes. That phone number is 877-725-8255. Same type of show. Give away the same type of gifts. Write this number down. You can start calling in a couple of minutes, 877-725-8255. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Suzette. We'll talk to you all next week. Until then, give your pets a big hug and a kiss for you. One between the ears for me. I'm Warren Eckstein, and thank you. Thank you much for listening to The Pet Show.